Intuitive Financial Advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and I want to discuss one of the toughest decisions I've had to make as an investor to date, and that is PayPal versus Square. And what went into the decision? Now, if you follow me on public, which you should, you already know which stock I chose. Neither of them are bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to show you why that's the case here in a few minutes. But it was a tough decision. I'm going to take a very high level overview between the two and let you know why I chose the one I chose. You pick what you want to pick. It's not advice, but I wanted to kind of walk you through some of my decision making and why it was such a difficult choice. I also want to get your thoughts. Which one do you think is going to do better over the next 6 to 12 months? Is it PayPal? Is it Square? All right, so let's go ahead and break it down. You pretty much know PayPal. PayPal actually spun out of eBay. That's where it started. They make money in all types of ways. They also own Venmo, and they make the Vend machine, which is a POS system, point of sale. So you go in, you swipe your card at a cafe or something. PayPal makes that. Now, in my view, and so says PC Magazine and others, they actually see that the Square system is more popular and higher rated. And when I was in New York City, and New York City is not the world, even though New York feels that way. When I was in New York, I saw most of the Square system kiosks way more often than I saw anything else. For example, they would have like a little iPad, turn it around, you actually see the Square logo, you swipe your card, tap your card, sign, all that kind of stuff. That's from Square. Square also owns Cash App, which exploded this year in usership. I use Cash App more than I ever have in my entire life. As you know, Cash App is an app where you can, one, send payments to people. Two, you can invest in the market. You can also get Bitcoin. If you're not careful, you can get scammed too. So quit falling for them scams. Stop. Just throw that one out there. I think I had already mentioned that PayPal owns Venmo. So you kind of get the suite of products. They almost do the exact same things. I will say, and this is in Square's column, at least for me, Jack Dorsey, the CEO or one of the founders of Twitter, is the CEO of Square. I tend to think that's pretty cool. No one knows the name of the guy who runs PayPal. That's not to say he's a bad dude. I actually think I had it here earlier. His background is actually really interesting. It just isn't a name brand. Now, does that matter? Depends on who you ask. Daniel Schluman, I'm sorry. Y'all know my pronunciations are terrible because I'm from the South. So he used to be the president of enterprise growth at American Express, which that ain't bad if you run under PayPal, which is not American Express, but it does a lot of good financial things for business owners, things of that nature. So that's the high level overview. Now, when looking at it, when you look at the chart and you're trying to see which one you're trying to make more money with, at least over this last year, there's a very clear answer, and that answer is Square. Why is that the case? 51%. That's how much Square has been up from January to now. Now is December 15th, 10 days before Christmas, and I got all my shopping done. That's a record for me. But aside from that, 251%. PayPal is only up 104%. Now, 104% is amazing in any year, but especially in this year when, depending on where you are, you can be either really good or really bad. The overall market is only up 14%. So, you don't have a bad option here. You really don't. But there is a very important reason why I did not say, well, I'm just going to pick both and just kind of, I don't want to call it a cop out, but just why don't I just get both? I can't choose. I'm gonna just grab both. The problem is that you run into an opportunity cost. And because the stocks perform so differently, you actually can cost yourself a few $1,000s, depending on how much you invest, by not putting 100% of your money into one over the other. This is called an opportunity cost. Anytime that you do one thing and not the other, that is essentially a cost. For example, if you left school and went to graduate school for 2 years, that was an opportunity cost. Your salary times 2 for 2 years, that's a cost in addition to the loans or whatever else you paid to go to school. That's a cost that you need to factor in. Even though you didn't do it and you didn't pay out of pocket, that is still a cost. So I want to show you real quick what would have happened. And you can manipulate the numbers a bit if you want, how much the stocks made. But for example here, I think this was from January to like November, since this month isn't over. So the numbers are a bit different than the 251, so on and so forth. All right, so if I make sure we have there we go. So if I put 10,000 back in January, right around now, maybe you're a few weeks off based on these numbers. If I did PayPal, let me erase this. If I did PayPal, I'd have 19,975, basically $20,000. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. No complaints there. If I decided to do Square instead, I would have $33,721. Again, really, really incredible. I wish I had enough money. Or first off, I wish I would have went back in time and just put everything I had in Square, and I'd be all right. Or maybe a Tesla or whatever. But either one of these, you would have made some great money. However, if you did 50-50, still great money. There is no shade here. But the difference between the two, if I put all my money in Square and only half my money in Square, that's what? Right around $7,000. It's about a $7,000 difference between the two. So that is the opportunity cost. If I say, well, I don't want to pick, I'm just going to do both and call it a day. Is that a big enough opportunity cost that you care about or not? That is totally up to you, which is why I want to hear your thoughts on this and how you see it. I'll also tell you that, yes, you would have made more money in PayPal, but the question is not what happened in the past. What we're trying to figure out is what's going to happen in the future. What do we think for 2021? Do we think that when businesses open up, that Square is going to have more of a foothold? Maybe, maybe not. We also know that PayPal has much more of a bigger financial footing, or they're more financially stable than Square is. There's that to consider. But something else that popped up on my radar that made me a little concerned as to why I was going in a different direction than everyone else. If you Google PayPal versus Square, almost everything points to PayPal. All the analysts are pointing to PayPal. It's actually the eighth most popular stock for a lot of these larger hedge funds out there, which means they are buying up PayPal and saying, this is the stock we're going to roll with. Even in my metrics that I have PayPal ranked as like 8th, whereas Square is like 11th or 12th. Still both very good, but every metric outside of growth or outside of profit, every metric outside of profit says PayPal is the way to go. I just decided to go with Square. So we'll see. Neither one is bad. That's obviously clear. And you guys know my process. Come June 2021, we're going to come back and see which one was better over that time. And hopefully it's still Square. If it's not, we probably still would have made money. But I'm hoping, and we'll see, I'm hoping that Square is one of those things I can keep for the long term. I'm not gonna have no emotions once it comes. Did you do better or not? You guys know how it is. Come moving day, which is something I kind of look forward to now. All right, so that's gonna be it for me. Let me know in the comments, which one do you like? Which one would you choose? And again, the question is for the future. It's easy to say and see which one would have done better in the past. All these charts, all this financial information, all that kind of stuff, they don't tell you nothing, or they didn't tell you too much about what's going to happen in the future. So we'll see. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.